Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I am certainly glad that you have joined this evening. We gather on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you are always welcome to join. Our gatherings are here on Facebook, but also on my YouTube channel. So if ever you miss a Thursday, you're always welcome to join later on the YouTube channel. So good evening. Thank you for being here. We also have a conference call line, and you're always welcome to join via the conference call line as well. The conference call line is anonymous, and I always post that number. Usually I post it when I post our gathering times, so you can always find that number there. This evening, I want us to focus on really Black history. And I want to be very specific on how I want us to focus on that this evening. I want to focus on a moment in Black history that really highlights the Black family, particularly the value of representation, identity, diversity, as it relates to Black families. Okay? So that's what we'll focus on this evening. So again, welcome on the conference call line. I want to make sure that you can hear me. Let's see. Make sure that I have the phone line going. Okay. All right. So again, we're going to focus. This is Black History Month. We understand that we celebrate or should celebrate Black history with the idea that Black history is indeed American history. And so then it should be talked about really every day of the year. But this is February 2023, Black History Month. And I want to, when thinking about representation and identity first, I want to, if you're not already familiar, I want to introduce you to a particular study. And I'm going to place in the comment section information where you can read about what I'm talking about. I often say that you need to be sure that you can fact check a person when they talk. We're living in a great age where people can go live just about anytime from anywhere, right? And so I want to be sure that I'm one of those persons that whenever you come on, you can come out of here, and really see if I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be sure that I give you information, but I give you the reference so that you can go read it for yourself. It's very important because I was reading about this study, and it is an examination, really an expansive examination of family, and really family portrayals in the news. An examination of family portrayals in the news and in opinion programming. So the study that I read, it examined representations of families by race. It examined representation of families by race in national and local news and in opinion media coverage. The study, it really can be interesting for journalists, for social justice activists, for anybody who really is concerned about how families are depicted when considering their race. And so scholars may even be interested. So you should come to know, if you don't already know, Color of Change and Family Story. Now, Color of Change is the nation's largest online racial justice organization. So it's really important as we're online looking at everything else, TikTok, we're entertaining ourselves with Facebook. It's important to know about this online racial justice organization called Color of Change. I'll be sure I give you the information. Also, whenever we're entertaining ourselves, we need to be educating ourselves when we look at Family Story. That's another, I'll be sure you have that information. If you don't already have it, Family Story is an organization dedicated to elevating stories of diverse families. So again, I'm going to talk to us about representation, identity, and diversity. So these organizations released a report, and the report that I'm going to share tonight is entitled A Dangerous Distortion of Our Families. And I am tonight talking about Black people. And I make no excuse for that. So you need to know that that's who I'm talking about. And I am black. So I'll be talking about me on tonight. Yes. And I'll be talking about black people. So this particular study, A Dangerous Distortion of Our Families. I'm talking about black people. It's an examination of the news media's systemic and harmful misrepresentation of black families during an election cycle. Okay. So let me share with you some of the top findings of this story. Listen to this. When thinking about erroneous information concerning black families, the findings include 59% of poor families were depicted in the news media as black. 59% as black people. Even though only 27% of families living below the poverty line are black. But again, the news media depicted 59% of poor families were black. Even though, I say it again, even though only 27% of families living below the poverty line are black. This is another finding. 60% of media portrayals of families rely on welfare. This is what they found. 60% of media portrayals of families relying on welfare were black. This is what they said in the media, 60%. Even though only 42% of families on welfare are black. So this is what I'm saying. While you're on, your social platforms, while you're watching CNN and all these other things, just know that there's a difference between someone's opinion about black people and the facts about black people. Someone's opinion about black families and the facts about black families. This is something else that they found. The media overwhelmingly depicts black fathers as absent in the lives of their children without any supporting evidence. People say that all the time. But again, there's a difference between research findings and your opinion. The media also overrepresents the association between black families and criminality, while significantly underrepresenting white families' association with criminality. So this made me think of how we often hear black on black crime, as if crime is a racial thing. If we were going to use that, we would have to say white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime, right? So that's just another idea that came to my mind when thinking about how the media overrepresents the association between black families and criminality, while significantly underrepresenting white families' association with criminality. So in addition to, and thank you for placing in the comment section, yes, color of change and family story. And again, you will have this information. So I was just reading this and I wanted to share it with you. But in addition to conservative media outlets, mainstream media outlets also systemically and inaccurately portray black families. Like, for example, if you turn on CNN, they discovered here in this research study that CNN's portrayal of poor families is a 7. Poor families is a 7. Okay. To 0 white family ratio. Fox News is 8. Thinking about black families when this portrayal of poor families. Fox News is 8 to 1 when considering white families. ABC. Description of families as a source of social stability is 16 when thinking about white families, social stability. But then when considering black families, 2 when thinking about that ratio. So then this caused the executive director of Color of Change, his name is Rashad Robinson. What he said was millions of Americans form their opinions of black families through the media's disturbing and inaccurate portrayals of black families. So then Color of Change, they made sure that they did not just conduct a research study to provide the information about what they found, but they were also interested in what can we do about it. So we mentioned, they mentioned CNN, they mentioned ABC, they mentioned Fox News. Okay, so then with such findings, what do we do about it? Now, I'm going to say that we have to watch our mouths of what we say about black families, what we say about black people. We have to watch making blanket statements. Now, this is me talking. We have to watch making blanket statements because every family is different and every situation is different. So if I make a blanket statement about black fathers, then first of all, where's the research, McCoy? Okay. And second of all, you don't know every black father. So we have to be careful about what we say. But let me go back to what they say. So this is what the study suggests. In the report, Color of Change and Family Story, they lay out recommendations for how media outlets can begin addressing their inaccurate and harmful portrayal of black families. Number one, and there's at least 4 of them that I want to share with you. But the first thing that they say is with media outlets, they have to stop spreading and communicating negative stereotypes that do not have basis in fact. Number 2, media outlets must revise their standards and protocols for reporting on families and race-related issues. Number 3, media outlets must educate editorial decision makers and reporters about commonly spreading misinformation and stereotyping in reporting. And then number 4, the recommendation is media. Hey, you must be sure, media outlets, you must include people of color in the editorial process. I really like that one. Because, no matter how many degrees that I receive, no matter how many degrees I earn, no matter how many you earn, but no matter how many degrees I earn, there is one thing in particular that I know I'm expert in, and that is in being black. So then, this particular study recommends that media outlets include people of color in the editorial process. I'm right here, and I know that there are some other black people watching on this evening. There are people willing, if you just not only invite them to the table, but be sure that they can use their words, and don't censor them. Again, why? Because they've been experts. They know what it is to survive in America in a black body. So I like this particular study, and I am, again, encouraging you to read it. I'm going to give you access to it if you haven't already read it, because some people may have. I want you to come to know Color of Change and Family Story. And I want you to be encouraged to remind others that research is key. It's okay to have your opinion. And then it's a beautiful thing for us to have research. So then representation, I introduced to you this study, or I presented to you if you already read it. Identity, talking about who we really are. If you want to know about black people, you probably need to ask black people. And then diversity. I want to talk about diversity. Let's do that now. So when thinking about diversity, I thought about how the black family is represented properly in so many other ways. So the media doesn't get to, ABC, Fox, CNN. No. They don't get to take the spotlight this evening. I was just highlighting them because of their erroneous behavior. The spotlight is on the fact that the black family is represented in positive ways many times through music, through the church, through community, through art, and even through poetry. And so I want to give us an example on this evening as we celebrate blackness on how black family is represented in poetry. Maybe you've read poems by Mr. Paul Laurence Dunbar. Great black poet. Oh my goodness. He has one poem in particular that I absolutely love. This poem I'm going to present to us on this evening because it is exemplary of a present father. So then when the media tries to say black fathers, they're not there. Black fathers, they always leave. Black fathers, they're not doing anything. Black fathers this and black fathers that. When they say that, we can turn to poetry and we can see a black father. Some people say it's the grandfather, but we can see that present man in the life of this baby. because the title of Mr. Paul Laurence Dunbar's poem is Little Brown Baby. Listen to how the family, the black family, is depicted in such a beautiful way. I see you, Brother Timothy. Media has to take accountability for their actions. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's right. So again, just be careful of who you're getting the information from. When they say it, go fact check it, right? I tell you that even about myself. So thank you, Brother Timothy. So the poem is best known for Paul Laurence Dunbar's use of slang in writing. Whenever I read this to you, please know that the first stanza sets the tone. It's the child sitting on the father or grandfather, the father's lap. And the child has molasses on his face. And the man says that the child will be eaten by bees for being so sweet. So the poem goes on, and you'll hear me read it, but it goes on with the man joking about this baby boy. And the dimple that he has in his chin, and talks about his teeth. And the man continues to joke with the child and ask him for a hug. So essentially, understand, while the media wants to negatively depict black families many times, essentially this poem is about black life together at home and how sweet it is. So I'm going to read it to you now. And some people may say, well, Dr. McCoy, I don't really see that. I don't really see what you're talking about. I know you mentioned CNN and Fox and things like that. Well, let me tell you, I can say that when I would watch Hallmark, the Hallmark Channel, Hallmark movies, especially around the holidays. People love Hallmark movies. But what I always noticed was that very seldom did I see black families represented at Thanksgiving. Very seldom did I see black families represented at Christmas. And you may be saying, yeah, but they have people of color. I'm not talking about people of color. I'm talking about black people right now. I am. Yes, absolutely. So what I did was I reached out to Hallmark and I told them that black people have Thanksgiving gatherings too. Black people have Christmas time as well. Black people gather as a family as well. And so you need to check your your representation. Not even misrepresent. We're not even seen. And they actually got back to me. And they said, they gave me a list of some of the shows, some of the movies that they were working on. And I have noticed a few more, but I've also noticed that whenever they have these depictions of black families, the entire movie has to have all black people in it. Have you noticed that? And then they'll have one and it has all white people in it. You notice that? And the fact is, I don't know about you, but as a black woman, I have friends of all races. I mean, it's okay for you to have that movie Hallmark and have black families in there and show that we're okay with mixing. We're fine with that. We want to know that you're fine with that. So the next time you turn on your television, and I've said this to my white colleagues, I said, you know me and you love me, and I know that you do. I want you to look at the commercials. You know that my hair is natural hair. That means that I don't put things in my hair to make it straight or to make it curly. This is just the way that God made it. It's kinky, and that's all right. It's frizzy, and that's all right. But the next time you see a hair commercial, I want you to listen to what they're saying. They're saying things like, get the frizz out. I want you to think about it from my perspective. I was born with frizzy hair. I was born with kinky hair. Subliminally, what kind of message do you think that's sending to your black friend? I want you to consider that if you were to come into the black community, what you would find is a whole lot of something called fade cream. And I have this brown skin. And fade cream is meant to lighten my skin, a subliminal message that there's something wrong with the tone of my skin. I want you to consider, when you watch your next commercial and you watch your next movie, the woman that you love who is living in a black body, I want you to consider what she might be feeling when she sees all of these things who contradict the way that God made her. And then get back to me on that. Oh, and my loving white friends, they went and they actually did it. I told them, I said, I want you to write it down. I want you to do a little bit of research, if you will. I said, I want you to write it down. And they came back to me with some written things. Yes, it is written. And they said, I never saw it before. And I said, because you never had to. But if you're going to be in a relationship with me, you're going to need to. Because I want us to have a real relationship. Not one of those pseudo type of relationships where, oh, we are the world, we are the children. No, not one of those type of relationships where you say, I don't see color. No, I need you to see my color because everybody else sees it. I wear it as a beautiful badge every single day. So don't dismiss the color. See it for what it is. Listen to the stories. Look at what the media does to us. And don't bring up what it does to other people. When somebody says Black Lives Matter, don't bring up that Blue Lives Matter. This is a real situation that people are walking around with every day, and they have to censor themselves. They have to smile even through the pain. And then when they get to their churches, the Black church, if you come, what you will find is you'll see some of them. They might start running around the church. They might start crying out, oh, hallelujah, thank you. And you start to say, what is going on with these people? I was waiting all week to get here because I was holding in a pain that the only safe space where I can let it out is in my Black church with my Black folks who know what it was like to get through another week in a Black body in America. Take some notes, do your research, and you'll find it to be true. Not for you. Congratulations, but for me. Oh, but then there's Paul Laurence Dunbar, who has this poetry that reminds the Black family, oh my goodness, that there are happy times, and oh, that Black father, that Black grandfather. Now, I want you to really listen to this because the beautiful thing about this is that there's slang in this poem. Remember, we're talking about a people who were stolen from their native land, brought to an unfamiliar land, and who had to learn the language, who had to learn, who had to really be stripped away from their names and from their culture. But then what were they able to do? Years later, they have their own schools. They're called HBCUs. Years later, they have Black-owned businesses that I make sure I go out of my way to support. Oh, years later, the Black church still stands. Oh, listen to Paul Laurence Dunbar's poem. Now, listen carefully. And I'm going to try to do my best because it's slang and I love it. Little brown baby. Little brown baby with sparkling eyes, come to your pappy and set on his knee. What you been doing, sir? Making sand pies? Look like that bib you's as dirty as me. Look at that mouth. That's molasses, I bet. Come here, Maria, and wipe off his hands. Bees gonna catch you and gonna eat you up yet. Being so sticky and sweet. Goodness lands. So you see, he's giving attention, looking at the baby. He says, little brown baby with sparkling eyes, who's pappy's darling and who's pappy's child? Who is it all the day never once tries? For to be cross or once loses that smile? Where did you get them teeth? My, you's a scamp. Where did you get that dimple from on your chin? Pappy do know you. I believes you's a scamp. Mammy, this here some old stragglers got in. He's teasing the baby. Let's throw him out and into the sand. We don't want stragglers a laying around here. Let's give him way to the big boogeyman. You know he's hiding around here right now. Boogeyman, come in to do. Here's a bad boy you can have for to eat. Mammy and Pappy don't want him no more. Swallow him down from his head to his feet. There now, I thought that you'd hug me up close. Go back, old booger. You shan't have this boy. He ain't no tramp, nor no straggler, of course. He's Pappy's panda and Pappy's playmate of joy. That's the result of him teasing to get a hug. Come to your pallet now. Go to your rest. Wish you could always know ease and clear skies. Wish you could stay just a child on my breast. Little brown baby with sparkling eyes. That's protection of a father, of a man, of a black man, considering his family, wishing that that baby would never have to see the pain of life. He says, I wish you could just stay on my breast. Are there any parents out there, black parents, where you just wish that your child would just stay at your breast? Are there any black parents? You wish you didn't have to have particular type of conversations with your sons. Are there any black parents who wish that you didn't have to tell your baby girls that they're going to be judged when they go to school because you see they're a little more curvy than some of the other girls? Are there any parents, grandparents out there who know the struggle of a young child just trying to get an education? But then there are some who say that they're not college material because of the color of their skin. Oh, there's some parents out there, you don't just feel that for your child, but you feel it for yourself because somebody told you that. This poem, again, is about the black family life together and how sweet it is. So I want us to know that there is value in accurate representation. There is value in accurate identity. There is value in accurate diversity in relation to black families. So then, the naysayers, I say to the naysayers and to the haters of black love and to those who want to destroy the beauty of black families, I need to say to you that the black family will always stand on a great African proverb that has been passed down from generation to generation. You can be a naysayer. You can be a wrongdoer toward the black family. You can say what you want and print what you want and put images like you want and beat us down if you want. But we stand on this African proverb that says a family tie is like a tree. It can bend, but it cannot break. So, misrepresent our black men, and we may bend. Misrepresent our black women, and we may bend. Misrepresent our black children, and we may bend. Misrepresent our black grandmothers, our black grandfathers, and we may bend. Misrepresent our aunts and our uncles, and we might bend. Misrepresent our nieces, our cousins, and our nephews, and we might bend. But let me ask you, since 1619, when the first free Africans arrived right there at Jamestown, Virginia, have you ever seen us break? Our family tie is like a tree. It may bend, it can bend, but it cannot break. So to the unbreakable out here black folks, to the unbreakable, I say to you, happy Black History Month. Hold your head up. Be proud. Keep moving. And do not break. Don't break. Now is not the time to break. CNN can't break you. You may bend a little bit. ABC may bend you. You may bend you a little bit, but no. They can't make you break. All of these things that you see, you remember what God has said about you. You are created in the very image of God. That spreaded nose that you see, something like that looks like God. Those full lips that you see when you look in the mirror, something like that, God. Yes. Those full cheeks, those chiseled cheeks, something like that. It's like God. That hair. You wear your hair proudly. You wear it the way you want to, but you make sure that you know who you are and that you've made an informed choice. You make sure that you don't alter your blackness because you feel that you need to be like somebody else. All you need to be is like your creator. Your creator is God, and God makes no mistakes. You make your choices, but make sure that you make your choices that are informed and in love for God first. And for your heritage, God first, and for your people, God first, and for the way that God made you. Happy Black History Month. Stand strong. Stand proud. God bless you.